I could easily run a great race in Killarney, but my business life could fail, my work professional. It's the same with you. You could just give up on work and practice on running every single day. You'll probably have no apartment and nowhere to live, but hey, you run a great race. So that probably be like, I committed to doing the Ring of Kerry again as well, which is the cycle, which I think is a month after, or a couple of weeks after or before. Can't remember exactly. So, but I think they'll go hand in hand. As in, I want to do every second day, do a run, do a cycle, do a run, do a cycle, but nothing aggressive, just tipping away and get my fitness up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's 1 month after, and it's a good thing that you mentioned goals being divided into different sections, and that's exactly what I wanted to kind of focus on today. If there were more, I'm definitely going to repeat this one on goals, because I think that goals should be reviewed and updated fairly regularly. I wanted to start this by giving an example where they did a Harvard study with around 1,000 students, and they were asking them if they have written down goals for the near and the far future, and there were only 3% of them that had clear written goals. So when they did the study over and over again, and they were tracking people for 10 to 20 years, and in the 15-year span, the 3% that had clear written goals outperformed and out-earned all the other 97% altogether. So that's a really, really strong statistic, and that's Harvard. So it's not like a random school somewhere else. It's like everyone there is a high performer, high achiever, and striving for a lot in life. So that just shows the kind of power of goals in one sentence. But I've been Googling stuff around goals and how to set them and what are interesting things about them. The main thing is actually having clarity in your mind, and a lot of people don't get what they want because they actually don't know what they want. They just kind of stumble through it and kind of don't know where they're going. So if people make it clearer for themselves, they kind of get closer to their goals already. So writing down goals is one of the best things that you can do. I don't know if you prepared a notebook to write on, but I have a piece of paper here if you want. Awesome stuff. So I would like us to do this kind of a write down working exercise, because you can go into theory as much as you want, but if you don't set it in practice, you're kind of not doing a lot.
It's a dreamer.
And one of the things that I would like to end on is kind of okay, you've been thinking about it, you've been planning about it, you've been writing down about it, but maybe the last thing to end on would be what's the one thing that you can do to get closer to your goals now. And I like how it overlaps with Robbie's presentation, where he had now as the last slide. It actually brings you a lot closer if you start something now, as soon as you start thinking about it. So that's why I think setting goals is important. I would like to encourage you. I don't know what goals you set for yourself, but I would like you to start thinking big. Every goal that you set, try to set it 10x, or try to just coin the phrase or kind of visualize it, how it will be 10x, because you're probably not going to achieve all your goals in life anyway. So if you set them high, you increase the level of goal that you can reach throughout striving for the goals.
And is there a worry there that if you set your goals too high, you don't achieve them, that you feel like you failed?
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of theory that start small and build your way up, because you get that confidence boost. How do you recommend that someone doesn't, I suppose, go too high and then disappointed that even though I've done 80% of what was an unrealistic target, I still failed?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I've been struggling with that one personally, because when I started doing self-development, I was millionaire, conquer the world and stuff like that. And then you get easily discouraged because it's too far away. But there's a brilliant quote that says, the problem with people is not that they aim too high and miss, it's that they aim too low and hit. And the problem is that people don't set goals at all. Working your way up to a bigger goal is actually the way to go. But the main thing with setting a big goal is making it emotionally appealing, so you actually create the drive that pushes you forward. And if you set it too low, you actually might not get motivated enough to actually go for it. So you don't even achieve smaller goals. So it will be a golden middle between setting a small goal and a large goal, and then kind of calibrating in between there. So I think that might be the best one. But writing a big one might be just like something cool to, like kind of have it in your mind to just kind of set as a direction. So it might be that you never get there actually, but studies have also shown that getting the goal doesn't make you happy. It's the process of getting to the goal that makes you happy. And the happiest people in the world are those that embrace actually progress and that have like a continuous growth mindset. So it's not a plateau. It's more like a embrace the journey. I had that one on LinkedIn beforehand, like success is not a destination, it's a journey. Because you get a lot of people that achieve like all of their goals, like win the lottery, buy everything they want, go to all the places that they want, get relationships that they want, be the person that they want to be, but they still feel unhappy and it still doesn't fulfill them and it still makes them, kind of like empty inside, which is then the ultimate loss because you have everything and you're not happy, then you're completely in the wrong spot. So it's about continuously growing, expanding, evolving, and becoming a better person and achieving a new level. Which is why you have to always review your goals and always go through them and always try to find something new or something better or something like a different version of it. And I think that's kind of what we should aim for. So the best way that I came up with getting closer to that is dividing it into categories, as you mentioned before, and just draw a bunch of goals for each of the categories. I would recommend starting with the biggest goal that you can think of for each category and then working all the way up to the smaller ones. That's the first.
And is there a time frame over this then, Borna?
Yeah,
so should it be like, do we set deadlines or do we say, hey, look, here's my goal? Because I think there's no deadline, it's just a dream. And then where do you kind of draw the line?
A goal without a deadline is just a wish. So
perfect,
first we're going to write them down just to have them in one place. Then we're going to categorize them into how easy or hard they are to achieve. So if you want to achieve $1 million in your bank account, you're probably not going to do it in 3 days. So then we're going to divide them into 3 categories, like 1-year goals, 5-year goals, and 25-year goals, or like short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, and just to group them up that way. And then we're going to jump into the really short-term ones, like let's say we write down 10 goals in each category. We have 5 categories, 10 goals each, that's 50 goals. You want to get 3 goals out of each one that are kind of doable within the next month or 3. And then you want to chunk them down to smaller bits. So those are kind of the 2 or 3 exercises that I want us to do. The first category, I'll let you suggest the first one, since might be cool. But
let's just because it's a common goal between the two of us. Let's say I know is it health, stroke, fitness. I don't know where the running would fall into, but maybe you can put a brand on it.
Sure. All right, fitness goals. So let's start by writing out what we want to achieve there. Try to think of yourself, now that's projection into the future. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And where do you want to end up with your body, health, fitness, and the whole situation regarding that? So rather than thinking of achievements, also try to think of as who do you want to become? Like instead of I want to run a marathon in New York, which is a great goal, also try to put stuff like I want to be a marathon runner, because it's a different thing. Because if you run a marathon, you can run it just once and then never run again and become fat and lazy and not do anything in your life. But if you become a marathon runner, you become a personality that always goes for runs, keeps your health and fitness intact, and is always able to go for marathons. So I would focus there on short term, like become a person that goes for a run 3 times a week. That will be maybe one of the short term goals. because you can do that within a week, right? You can go for a run today, tomorrow, and let's say Sunday, and then you're done. You achieved your goal. You put a nice little Nike tick next to the box, and you're happy. By the way, that's one of the like sweet hacks how you can get addicted to achieving goals, is to create achievement systems for yourself, where you reward yourself for each and every one of them, and that also takes a workshop where you figure out what will be the best achievements for yourself. But I wanted to do that in another call/talk where we go into motivation and what drives us actually. But let's start with goals here. So spend the next 15 seconds writing down every fitness goal you can think of. Start with everything from running to strength to overcoming injuries to achievements and goals and landmarks, and maybe where and how, and try to think of if you're setting a goal to run a marathon, try to see yourself going through the finish line and being like, yes, I did it, I ran the marathon, and seeing yourself running to the finish line, and then trying to kind of coin that into the phrase of how you're making the goal. Always set your whole goals in the positive. Don't do them in the I hope I will someday maybe run a marathon, right? Because you're putting too much of uncertainty into your goals and ideas. So setting I will run a marathon, strong words that show determination, and if you state them in the positive, your mind will accept them a lot easier. You will notice maybe with people that when they put it in the positive, and if they're very, very negative, that it might be really hard for them to accept it, because their mind is not used to accepting positive stuff. So in those situations, usually more energy works. Phrasing it more strongly. Now, it's hard to give an example for that one because that will be unique for every situation, but just writing it, oh yes, I will be happy, and just I will make the goal won't be enough to motivate them. So stating it a bit more strongly, I am certain that I will run through that marathon and achieve the goal of finishing it. Might sound a bit more strong, but it might help people who are a bit more negative, who don't like positivity as well. People who are fairly positive like me, just stating it in the positive works normally, and it doesn't have to be forced too much, but it's always good to put more energy into stuff. We're going to talk about emotions in one of the talks, because that's kind of the fuels to all of this, and try to make every goal kind of appealing and sexy for yourself, so it kind of resonates with you and you kind of feel an emotion when you hear it, because putting just a number down on a paper, running 42K, doesn't do much. It doesn't create an emotion that would kind of drive you towards it, nor pull you toward, so it kind of loses the point of setting a goal for it. So let's just start by writing them down. And try to go for 10 of them. One of the first ones for me is run the Killarney half marathon.
And is that, I have that down as my medium-term goal.
You don't have to sort them into time frames now. Now just focus on freely writing them, kind of more the relaxed approach of just anything that comes to mind, put it down on paper, and then later we can divide them into categories. Some of them can even be pushed from one category to the other. So someone who might want to run a long marathon but has knee problems should maybe make it a long-term goal rather than a mid-term goal, so his legs get stronger, so stuff like that.
What time did you go running this morning at?
I woke up at 6:30. I was on the road at 6:45.
Ah, nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, so all right. I see that you're done with that. Now turn the page. Let's go to a new category, and we're going to run through the categories real quick there, so just so we can kind of like cover more ground.
Yeah.
So we are going to achieve our fitness goals. We're going to have a strong and healthy body, and we're going to live long and prosper and be be really healthy. So what else are we going to do in life apart from being healthy and fit? We're going to focus on achieving success, and let's start with financial goals, because as soon as we get them out of the way, we can focus on more meaningful things. Money is not everything in the world, and after there's a really cool study shown that after you go to like 100 or something K in life, you kind of lose motivation about money. It's just like a small percent of people that really go for just money at that point. And that because you have most of your needs met and can buy most of the stuff, so then you're kind of not, then you're more kind of like, oh, I want to leave a legacy, achieve this, go do that, or so let's get money out of the way, and then we'll focus on other stuff as well. So financial goals, anything that you want to achieve financially, how do you want to get money, where do you want to get money, how much money you want to get, what do you want to do with your money, how do you want to spend it, where do you want to spend it, who do you want to spend it with, on when do you want to spend it? What emotion do you seek to gain from spending the money? That's a very good question there.
Okay, cool.
Some people aim for a number. Some people aim for like I want to earn per month this much every month. And it's always good in goals to have them clear and specified. For instance, if you say, I want to earn 3,000 euro per month, will you do it only by working in Sigmar, or will you do it from earning it somewhere else, like on the side?
Yeah.
Like doing it specifically makes it more clear on what you want to do, because that will be one of the lessons. Your mind is like between the conscious and the subconscious mind. The subconscious kind of like, if you don't tell it, it doesn't distinguish it. So it's kind of like, all right, earn 3,000. You can become a criminal and earn 3,000 euro per month, right?
Yeah.
And your subconscious mind didn't get the command on what you want to focus on, so it needs to be clear and stated like as precise as possible. I also recommend like doing a financial statement for yourself, where you kind of go through all your expenses through the month, and then making that as a base for this goal, and then making smaller goals on what you want to do through the month. Like, I want to travel once a month. All right, where do you want to travel? How much would the plane ticket be, train ticket, hotel, food, and all of that, and extra, and then add it up, add it to the monthly cost that you have already now, and you can make that as a base goal. So yeah, that's something to start from maybe.
And it's funny, and sorry to go off topic. It's funny you speak about earning money and then not be motivated by it. I probably spent my whole career trying to earn a lot of money, and that's my big motivation. And I had a figure in my head, and it was, hey, I want to earn this amount of money, because that to me is success. And then I hit it, and I kept growing from it. But after a while, it became all relative, and I hate saying it because it does make you sound like a pompous dickhead, that, oh, you earned a lot of money, but then it changed. I wanted to create a legacy, which was how the Chile office was born. So I make less money now than I did when I was a recruiter, but it was more the case of, now I've helped build out people's careers, or provided employment in my local town, and I don't earn the same amount of money, but I'm probably happier in life. I'm secure. That's my financial goal, is in life. I realized very early I wasn't going to be able to ever afford to fly business class anywhere, regularly, as in I could maybe afford it once a year if I put all my savings together. So then I was like, what's the point of trying to kill myself or trying to be so self-centered if I'm not going to make $1 million out of this? I'm comfortable. I'm not going to make $1 million a year, so why keep pushing and sacrificing stuff? So then it became looking at legacy. So it's just interesting you said that, because it felt very personal to me.
It's personal to a lot of people, because that's why you have to review goals, and it's great that you came to that realization, because a lot of people don't, and then they're struggling to earn a little bit of money, and like they're thinking that if they earn more money, they're going to be more happy. They will for a short time, but they, so it's kind of like hard because some people never get there, and they get stuck in the struggle, and they actually never move forward from that, which is then like a life of suffering. And that's why setting goals can free you from a life of suffering.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I just need like a few more seconds there for these financial ones. And yes, having Bitcoin in your wallet counts as a financial goal.
Did you want a whole Bitcoin or just part of a Bitcoin?
Oh man, I actually wrote down one of the long-term goals: have 10 Bitcoin. So that's a big one there.
If it crashes, it could be achieved a lot easier.
So we'll put it to mid to long term. But we'll see on that one. Actually, I think it will increase in value because of the economic instability. So a lot of people will transfer. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, those are the financial goals. I think we still have some more time, so let's go through another few categories. Apart from financial, let's go to something that's very similar to that, which is success. And I know that you probably have some goals that you've written down here that are tied to success, but try to go into the success category there of like from the space that you were in right now, like what brought you more fulfillment and made you feel like, oh, I achieved something and I got to a new level, rather than, oh, I made some money. It can be a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I know that you have a son, and it might be like providing him with the best possible education, that might be success for you, or something like that. I think the next category after success should be relationship goals, like friends, family, and all of that. Because if you're living healthy, strong, and have money, then you need to achieve some sort of success so you don't fall off the wagon. And to have that, you also need to have stable relationships with people around you that are, like quality people. Surround yourself with quality people, and
of course.
So let's start with success goals first, huh?
Success. Okay.
Yeah. So what will bring you success? Short term, long term, midterm, anything. Just jot them down how you feel fine about them, and then we'll sort them into categories later. Become the BD manager in Sigma.
I think that's going to be your one, yeah.
All right, I'm done with these ones.
Yeah, I'm done with my success ones in here.
Cool.
Will I go into relationship ones now, will I?
Yeah, go to relationships. So here, think about friends, family, spouse, everyone, like how they're affecting you, how you're affecting them. Where do you see yourself and them being in the future? Like, how would you like that future to look like? Then things like, if you're not spending time with people that you should spend time with, put down goal, like spend more time with, I don't know, Chris, go for more drinks with Simon, stuff like that, that kind of reminds you of spending more time with the people that you want to spend. Also in reverse, if you're spending too much time with people that you don't want to spend time with, then stop hanging out with, and things like that. A lot of parts of achieving in success, it's not doing more, but it's sometimes doing less. And if you're doing the wrong things, you're actually going backwards. So sometimes just like dropping stuff helps. So yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Okay.
I'll give you a great tip there that I have. I heard that somewhere. I've forgotten where, but a guy mentions there. If you have people that inspire you or that you kind of want to meet in life, create a list of them and then set a few goals of trying to meet the people that you look up to. It could be like, for some people, it's movie stars. For me, it would be people like from this like self-help and self-development community and people that do talks and stuff like that. And then set out to meet them, right? So where could you meet them? at a conference that they're holding, at their company where they're working, and at a meeting or something like that, you know. And I heard that a lot of people recommend that as kind of like a really cool goal to have for life, especially that some of the people that people look up to are usually older, more experienced, and have a lot of like useful knowledge, and then they're closer to dying. So it's kind of like you have a pressure on your time pressure on your goal, and then you're working towards it faster to meet the person while they're still alive, you know. So yeah, that might be a cool thing. I have like 3 people on that list that I would like to meet, so I put that under my relationship goals. Try to meet 1 person from the list of 3 there. Which actually goes together with the goal from going to more conferences, you know, because if I go to one of their conferences, I might meet them there, you know. Cool. All right. I have one more category that I would add here in this like self-development theme that we're having, which would be learning goals. And this would be kind of to force yourself to embrace the idea that no one's perfect, right? And that you always have to learn and expand. And like, if more people were on this call, like I'm sure that doing social talent every day could be one of the goals, right? Because you get like free knowledge that's like really useful to your work every day, like on one place. So more stuff like that can work, like reading a book a month, a week, stuff like that works. Going to seminars and educations where you get info about topics that you're interested in, that will be something. Then I don't know, paying for a course, going for like a cooking course, you know, like arts class and stuff like that. All that is great. One of the themes that I'm very interested was, at one point I learned about the Da Vincian concept of man, is where people think they're only one-sided, but Leonardo da Vinci was like 50 things in life. He was a artist, architect, painter, he was a bodybuilder, you know, like a lot of stuff that people don't know about him, but he did a bunch of stuff, and he kind of coined the phrase, the concept of like improving in a lot of categories. And whilst you have like all philosophers would only stick to like philosophy and do that for like their whole life, you know. So we might go into that one once, but in this category, in learning, I would definitely put a new skill to kind of broaden horizons, something that you've never done, something that was interesting for a long time that you've never done, something that you might have been afraid of doing, and then like going into it kind of will solve a lot of problems internally. You know, stuff like that really helps to kind of push your limits and bring it to the next level. So yeah, learning goals. So yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground there. If you want to do stuff like this for yourself, it might be good to do it once a month and add a few more categories into this. Each time starting from 0, like you can write the same goals down, but don't go writing on the same page, rather turn a new page every time, and it becomes like a gym for your mind, where you at first you struggle to put down a goal and kind of like think of like, all right, what am I going to learn, what am I going to do, but after a while you become more resourceful with that. The next step for us would be now to go back on the first one, and then actually go through all of them and just sort them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sort them into like how hard, or rather how soon they can be achieved, right? Short term, mid-term, long term, and just add 1, 2, 3 to 10, how many you wrote down. So when you have them sorted into groups and categories, then you have them filed into like how soon you can achieve them. The idea would be to take the easiest, most the one that's first, sorry, the one that you can achieve first from every category, and put all of them onto a separate list where you have only the 5 or 10, like we've gone through 5 categories now, 5 goals that are easiest to achieve in the shortest amount of time. So put that somewhere where you have it like visually displayed, that you can actually remind yourself regularly on achieving it, because if you throw this paper away, you'll probably get less use out of it. So yeah, then it will be the next thing when you have that list in front of you will be to take action towards every one of them. So if you can go towards doing something to get you to closer to one of these 5 goals. So if you made a relationship goal of going for more drinks with Simon, then what you can do now is send him a message right away and be like, hey dude, when do you have time this weekend? Let's go for a drink, and text me if you have time at, I don't know, 8 o'clock, right? So that will be kind of the first small step to achieving one of the first goals, right? Second thing that we don't have enough time for now, but it's definitely a good exercise. Go through all of the goals once more and try to chunk every one of them down into smaller steps, into like, what can you do on a, let's say if your goal is in 10 years, what can you do every year to get closer to that 10-year goal? And then if you have a 1-year goal, then try to do it like, what can I do for 12 months every month to get me closer to the 1-year goal, right? And then the best would be if you have a calendar for yourself, and then write that into the calendar of like a yearly plan on how to how, when, and where to do that. So if you want to meet someone at their conference, you have to go there, you have to buy the ticket first, you have to buy the plane ticket to get there, book the hotel, chunk it down into smaller goals, and then put each one into a calendar, and then do them all the time. So this should result in you having a bunch of stuff to do throughout the year, all the time, basically, and create a lifestyle where you're actively going towards your goals. And it seems like a lot right now, but if you chunk it down to small bits, it's actually like that. Like, send a message to someone, go there, do a phone call, book flight. You know, it's not a lot when you chunk it down. It's a lot to do this part where you visualize stuff that you want, where you write it down, and where you actually think about what you want in life. So we've done the hardest part already. Next is just sending it into action. So yeah, get the list of the 5 easiest ones. Set out to do them as soon as possible. Now is the word of the day. Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of it, Shaun. I think that sums up the whole goal setting process.
I really enjoyed this call. It's really, really good. Like I'd recommend it to people on the team. Like, as in, now more than ever, I think we have so much free time on our hands that, like, as in, just when the last when I was writing out stuff to do, like read a book, you know, etc., etc. Now is actually the time that we should be doing it.
Yeah.
But
if you look at it from the negative, yeah, you're stuck to your house, you can't do anything. But then again, if you want to reverse it to the positive, like, yeah, you finally have a chance because you have time that you don't have to go anywhere, and you can start doing the stuff that you've been telling yourself to do all the time. So yeah, I agree on that one.
Okay, cool. Well, look, thanks for that. Let's set up after this, your first action should be set up next week's call. Because then we have it in the calendar and we can't escape it, and we'll work towards that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll chat to you at 9 o'clock on the conference call, okay?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Shaun. I enjoyed the call as well. Yeah. Stay strong. See you, man.
All right, mate.
And guys, before you go to the next video, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment so I know how you liked it. Like my Facebook page, Power Balls, where I sell protein balls. On Instagram, I show really cool pictures from the day. On Twitter, I follow some influencers and information on tech. I also use Snapchat for short videos, but most of the time I spend on LinkedIn, where I put out more serious content because of my job. I also use TikTok to make viral and cool videos. I don't have a blog yet, but I'm working on my Steemit platform, which is a blockchain platform. Guys, thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.